Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. The flow of life and what it looks like to find yourself in that reality. This conversation was quite literally inspired by my life this week. I feel like God was highlighting for me to discuss how it looks like when life is simply serving you instant prayers. And it occurred to me, this is how my life has become just over the several months. It's only gotten better. As a result of my close walk with God, me trusting God, me believing in God. We will find ourselves in life's flow quite simply when we open to life. And to open to life, what that entails is we're going to have to expand our heart to be able to receive whatever it is that God is bringing our way, whatever it is that life serves up. If we can go through life understanding that no matter what it is, it has come to serve a powerful purpose. Even if we perceive it as a challenge or not, if we can understand that if God has allowed this thing, this situation, this adversity to come into my life, it has come to serve. It has come to give me a grand experience. It has come to give me profound growth. It has come to give me a deep lesson. It has come to strengthen my trust. But no matter what it is, and I mean no matter what it is, it has come to serve you. One of my favorite quotes from Napoleon Hill is, and it's actually biblical, but the quote in Think and Grow Rich is, every adversity brings with it the seed equal to or greater than in a form of a benefit. So that means that no matter what's coming our way, even if it's a challenge, within the challenge is a seed for our benefit that far outweighs the challenge in the first place. So when we move in life with that knowing, then what are we restricting ourselves from? What are we becoming unraveled for? If we're becoming unraveled in our response to when challenges arrive, then let me be the first to tell you, you're not open to life. You're not in life's flow. And I won't go too deep on how to remain open. I have several conversations on this topic, but I really want to focus on what it looks like once you found yourself in that flow. And then perhaps at the end of this conversation, you can look back and say, I need to go deeper because I want to flow like that with life. And, God was just showing me this week, like how effortlessly my life flows. And how God was saying, we need to talk about this. We need to show the world, whoever I lead to this episode needs to understand what it looks like when life is flowing. And, if I can just sum it up with like a sentence, I would just say, like, quite literally, it looks like and it feels like instant answered prayers. It actually feels like prayers being answered that I didn't even pray, if that makes sense. Just this week alone, I know that there was a day that I know the night before this busy day, I looked at my calendar and I had a ton of things to do. And it was actually a record day. Record day means I needed to record a convo for the Ultimate Love Letter. And on my record days, I really want to be able to just ease into it. I want to be able to be with God closely that day, receive inspiration on what we're to discuss. And I need the time and the space to be able to execute. I don't rush anything we do here on Tull. I'm completely relaxed. I'm at ease. My schedule is open. I'm just remaining open to the way God wants to use us. And so you can't put a rush or a time on that. But looking at my schedule, I was like, holy moly. I got to record tomorrow, and I have a client I got to meet with in the morning. My mom had just called. She needed me to take her to the doctor and then pick her up from the doctor. I had another errand that I needed to do, and I was like, God, okay, if this is what's being served up, I'm going to get it done. I know I'm going to get it done because you're my strength, because you're saying with you, I can do all things. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to release it, and we're going to do this. So I wake up the next morning, and after I'm done with my devotional and journaling my gratitude and spending my quality time with God, and now I'm getting ready to start my day, right? I look at my phone, because looking at my phone is like the fifth thing I do when I wake up in the morning. Nothing comes before my time with God. But when I looked at my phone, the first blessing just appeared. My mom said, hey, listen, I'm going to do the doctors tomorrow. You don't need to come and take me. So I thought, wow, that right there saved me hours in just travel time back and forth. Thank you, God, for the blessing. Mom will do that tomorrow. She's fine. So I go off to see my client, right? Next check mark, check that off the list. Next, I go to see my client. And when I get to my client, she said, you know what, Joe? I just want to rest today. Right? Like there was nothing to be done there. So I thought, oh my goodness. Now, basically, just by trusting God the night before that God is my strength and he's going to work it out. And in the back of my head, I know I need a certain amount of time to be able to record. God cleared my entire morning. The best time, the most profound time, my ideal time to record is in the morning. I'm fresh, I'm done with God, and now I can just take to our platform and lay out what he has on my heart. And now here I was able to do just that. With the two biggest things I needed to do of the day completely wiped away. I didn't need to cancel on anyone. Essentially, everyone canceled on me because I know God orchestrated that. So now it's like back home I go. And I had all these hours free time to just lay it out on the ultimate love letter and record the conversation that I needed to. Another day in my week, and this was all just this week, another day came and I just thought, you know what? I'm feeling like I have a beautiful girlfriend. And if you're in LA, I have to give a quick shout out here. Humble Body Yoga. If you're in LA, it's downtown. It's the best. It's the most beautiful yoga studio, the most beautiful gardens. One of the instructors, actually, I'm sure all the instructors, but the lead instructor, who is my friend, who owns the studio, is a complete healer. And I just thought, you know what? I feel like I needed to catch up with her. And so if you're in LA, check out Humble Body. I'm just going to put that there and I'm going to move on. But I just felt like I needed to take a class from Devin. I have a yoga studio that I go to here in Hollywood, but I was like, you know what? No, I need some of Devin's energy. I need some of that hot 26-2. Like I need a deep, deep yoga class. So on to Devin's I went. And it's a bit of a drive from Hollywood, right? But I went and it was a beautiful hour-long class. It was beautiful to see her. I could only catch up with her, once every couple months. But as I left, to my surprise, I didn't realize it until I got home. I had left my Hydro Flask, which is my water bottle, at the studio. And so I was a little disgruntled. I was like, okay, tomorrow I have to now, and then I had another busy day, but now I have to squeeze in going back downtown to pick up my water bottle. And this was another day where I had to meet up with family across town. It was a long drive and just a busy schedule. And so now here I am, another little monkey wrench where was thrown in my day, where I have to make this stop only because I wasn't present in the moment and I left this water bottle. So I was kind of beating myself up just a little bit. But again, I remain open to life. So I'm like, you know what, God, there's a reason. And initially I was thinking the reason is you weren't present, right? You were busy saying goodbye to everybody else. You were rushing to get out of there so you can go home and shower, and you left your water bottle. I accepted that as a lesson learned. I will not make that mistake again. And I accepted it. I went on with my day, went and visited family and did all the errands. And I had realized I will go and pick up my water bottle the very last thing I do before I go home for the night. And so I did that. At the end of the night, I was exhausted after working all day and running around with family. The last stop was to stop back at my beautiful friend's yoga studio and collect my water bottle. And as I'm getting out of the car to go into her studio, I think, I haven't taken class today. Maybe I should just stay for another class. I mean, I have on yoga pants and a sweatshirt. I don't have a mat, but I'm sure she can lend me one rather. I'll just book a class. This is what I'm telling myself. So I look at her schedule and it's a restorative class, which restorative is great. It's not really an intense. It's more like a restoring after, yoga. So I typically don't take those types of classes often at all. But I said, you know what? Whatever, I'm here, I'm going to take the class. And sure enough, before I could even sign up, I saw my friend, she gave me my water bottle and she says, you know what, Joe, you should stay for rest and restore. And I said, you know what, I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to book right now online. And she says, no, on the house. Here's the yoga mat, go on in there. I got you, girl. Beautiful. So I get into the studio, lay down my mat, and oh my goodness, it is by far the best restorative I have ever taken in my life. It was like God was giving me a complete, just deep tissue, like massage, restoring every cell, every muscle, every joint in my body. I can't even explain it. My friend leads a healing workshop is what it is. And it was just the most profound restorative I have ever taken. And it was followed by beautiful dim lighting and beautiful gardens that you can see outside of the French doors. And she topped it off with Palo Santo and just beautiful light music. It was just such an experience that I did not know I needed, but God did. And now I realize that was the reason I left the water bottle. It wasn't necessarily because I was unpresent and I rushed out. No, God knew that I have been working very hard. I have been going through a lot of transformation and a lot of healing. And God knows I would have never signed up for a restorative class because I usually don't take those types of classes. So God knew, essentially answering a prayer that I had not yet prayed because I wouldn't have known to pray that way. God served up a grand moment to restore me, to provide me with rest and relaxation after several days of really just grinding it out with work and clients and podcasts and family and prayers. And God served up a point in this beautiful, deeply relaxing and restorative class. And it was all because I said yes to life. I left the water bottle. I could have easily gotten pissed because it's such a drive. I could have beat myself up about it. Why did you leave that bottle? Damn, now you got to go back. Forget it. I didn't. I just, you know what? Lesson learned. Should have been present. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. And as I said yes to life, God rewarded me with the most beautiful, restorative experience of my week. All because I remained open. That's how He works all the time. That's how He has worked every single day. I'm thinking about the night before last. I was craving, some avocado rolls at Sushi Stop. And I thought, I have to back up. Okay. So I had another example of just being in God's flow. I had a manicure and a pedicure appointment, and I go to the same girl who does both my services. And to my surprise, when I got to the shop, she wasn't there. They actually told me, she's on vacation this week. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, we have an appointment. She usually tells me when she's on vacation. But they said, yeah, she took several days off. She'll be back next week. Do you want someone else to help you? And I said, no, absolutely. I'm here. Now, going to one person to do both my mani and pedi, as you know, if you do manis and pedis like I do, it takes double the amount of time because you're not using two people for two different services. You're using one person to do both services. So I'm in the shop for about 3 hours. Instead of getting pissed that my girl didn't tell me she was on vacation, instead of getting ticked because my favorite manicurist wasn't there and now I'm leaving it up to whoever to do the service for me, I just opened up to life. And I received that, okay, this is what life is giving me. And to my surprise, but not really my surprise, I sit down with a gentleman and it's just beautiful conversation. He's a beautiful soul. And Vietnam is one of my favorite places that I have visited. And he's from Vietnam, and we talked about his country. He actually gave me, I love my girl, but he actually gave me one of the best manicures that I've had in a long time. And then someone else came into my pedicure. So now I'm out in half the time. Where it was normally 3 hours, now it's an hour and a half. That was another little blessing that came as a result of just saying yes to life, just being open to life, just not getting ticked when God essentially moves some things around. Because again, God knows better than I do. God knows. And also, speaking about the pedicure was bomb as well. So now it's like I wasn't missing anything. Yes, initially I thought no one does better, manis or pedis than my girl Maya. But here it is. God served up two beautiful souls that did just as good of a job, if not better. And I was out in half the time. So when I was out, I thought, you know what? I got time. You know what? I want some avocado rolls. So that's when I was like, let me go to the sushi place and get some avocado rolls. And again, just saying yes to life. I roll up to the restaurant, which is in a very busy area in Hollywood. Parking is like always scarce, but I know God always serves up. And I drive and there's parking right in front. And not only is it up front, but because it is early enough, right? Now it's free parking versus had I had my appointment with my girl, it would have been, it would have been a busier time of day. Parking wouldn't have been free, and it certainly would have been up front. So again, that's just when you're in the flow of life, it's like God is serving up beautiful, effortless experiences. You just go from one blessing on to the next blessing. And there's no gap in between it because you're not getting upset when God changes things around for you. You're not getting upset when things are not going the way we had visualized it in our mind. We're just saying, you know what, God, I trust you. I know that this looks hard. I know this looks difficult. I know my schedule looks busy, but oh well, you got this. You got me. I'm going to dive in and I'm going to get it done. Then God begins to move. It's just like God says, like We look at often mountains looming in the distance and we become fearful. But we trip and fall where we're at in the presence because we're busy looking at what's going on in the future. When God is saying, look where you're going now. Stay with me now. You don't know how I'm going to have you scale that mountain. Perhaps I take you around the mountain. Perhaps we go on a detour. Perhaps I don't even ask you to climb the mountain. And even if I do ask you to climb the mountain, understand that I'm going to equip you to climb it. That's trust. That's just trusting that no matter what comes to us, it is coming to serve us. And we're not going to get or become unraveled. We're going to simply flow with all of it. We're going to accept it. We're going to embrace it. We're going to lean into the detours that come because we trust God. We trust that He's taking us where we're going. When we trust God like that, life will flow. I cannot tell you, I don't want to say that I take my life for granted because I recognize that I live in ease. I recognize that I live in flow. I've just built up that much trust for God that it's just become second nature to me. I know the blessings are going to come. I know the free parking is going to come. I know that all the experiences that are going to come to bless me, whether I perceive them like that initially or not. And so as a result, it is that way. And so I just expect it to be that way because I know it's going to be that way because I trust it's going to be that way because it's always been that way. And I move like that in life. And so I don't want to say I've become numb to it or used to it but for whatever reason, God really highlighted it for me this week. Like, recognize not everybody out there is living in a flow like this. This is not to be taken lightly or for granted. Like you're living in the flow. Most people are not. Most people, because I remember I was like that, where you're just one brick wall after the next. It seems like nothing works out for us. But that's because we're restricted. We're closing off our heart. We're thinking we know how things ought to be. And if they don't go according to the way we have it in our mind, then it's a failure and it's a distraction and it's not going to work out. So then life serves up exactly what you think. Okay, so then it's not going to work out because you're not flowing with life. You want to run into brick wall after brick wall. You fight with life. So then life will fight back because that's just what you're putting out. So that's what you get back. There's such an easier way. You can just float. You can just flow. And your prayers, before you even pray them, will be answered. Last night, here's another one. This was just last night. I was out with a girlfriend. Again, it was Saturday night, and it was a busy spot downtown. And we've been there several times. You need reservations, and we were just like hoping, it was spontaneous. We're like, let's just go in and see. It's just two of us. And sure enough, they were like, you know what? We'll put you on the list, but it'll be 45 minutes. So we said, all right, we're just going to wait. Like, we're good. We want this ambience. We want this food. We're going to wait. And as we're sitting there, we were talking and we were like, God, the ideal spot to sit would be at the bar because the game is on and because you can kind of just see the entire restaurant. Like, we want to be at the bar, but the bar was packed. Everybody wanted to be there. And I kind of just looked back at the bar and I said, you know what? And I looked at my friend and I said, I'm going to say a prayer. And I literally prayed. I was like, God, we want seats at the bar. And then I looked at the bar one more time and I saw it was the game that was on and it was only like the second quarter. I'm like, no one's going to move at the bar. Like everyone's milking those seats because they're watching the game. And as soon as that thought came in my mind, immediately I said, oh God, please. But nothing is more powerful than my God. If I said I want seats at the bar, God's going to produce seats at the bar. I am not kidding. I cannot make this up. This is a crowded restaurant, super crowded bar. Within not even 3 minutes of me saying that prayer, not even 3 minutes, I look back again and I see the best seats at the counter, a corner seat, 2 people saying goodbye. And They were clearing off that space, and I grabbed my girlfriend. I said, we're up. And we went, sat down comfortably. Immediately when we sat there, 2 menus, 2 glasses sat before us, and they welcomed us in. That is what God does when you're in the flow. Things just happen effortlessly and organically because you're no longer fighting life. You are just flowing with life. When you live from that standpoint, you will be able to pray prayers that will be answered instantly. And I'm going to put up a Convo when God answers instant prayers. That's going to be coming up because I actually have that on my radar. But that's what happens. But it only exists when you're flowing with life, not forcing life, not fighting with life, but flowing with life. I want to encourage you. When God sends you on a pivot, a detour, when it looks like there's no way around this obstacle, when your days look busy, when it looks like you have set out to do something and God has canceled your plans and now he's asking you to do something else, go with it. Don't fight it. Flow with the change. Because once you start to flow with the change, then no. You're just in magic now. Now everything you intend, now everything you want, and even the things you don't even know you want yet can and will flow to you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation on flow that only comes with opening up to life. I want to thank you for being here. I want to encourage you to flow, not force. Life can be so much more effortless and so much more ease once we get out of this forcing mentality. We don't have all the answers. We don't know it all, but I know who does. The Most High. He's really just trying to give you all the best experiences. He wants to give you all the desires of your heart and then some that are not even in your heart yet. He's ahead of you. Let him do it. But you're going to have to give up the fight to allow it to come. I want to give a quick shout out to our new YouTube subscribers. We gained like 18 subscribers in just a matter of a couple of days, which is huge. You know, I celebrate every subscriber, so we've had a big week. No doubt that's come from just the flow of us and everything we do here on Tull. I want to thank you and welcome you. And thank you so much for continuing to share and engage with our platform, which is your platform. Valentine's Day is coming up, y'all. And if you don't already know, we have worldtreasure.shop, which is a limited collection of items I have collected from my travels around the world just the last year and a half, and I have added them to a beautiful online store. It will be linked in the bio, and Valentine's Day is almost coming up, so I'm going to drop a code that you can use to receive 20% off anything in the shop. These items are intentional. Most of them are handmade, and each of them come with a special gift from the country they were purchased in. So once they're gone because it is a limited supply. And the beautiful thing is I actually own one of every single thing in the shop. So it is a super intentional, super collective experience. It's a shared experience is what it is. It's from my heart to yours. So I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.